Welcome to MacroCode. If you're new to this channel, consider subscribing. So today you are going to proceed with our help desk management system. So as you can see, we have our login screen. So when you put in the email address and password, then you sign in, you're able to land to the dashboard. So as you can see on the dashboard, we have the total tickets, urgent tickets, closed tickets, escalated tickets. This is the number of tickets per category, and it has different graphs. Then you also have the recent tickets. So here we have the number, that is the ticket number, the title, description, priority, status based on different colors, the created by, created on, the number of comments, and all these particular details. Then on the sidebar, we have the recent tickets. So here you can actually see you can create a new ticket here, provide the title, the description, the priority. You can select the main category and even the subcategory, and you can attach a file. So even on the assigned tickets, so these are based on the statuses. So on the recent tickets, you can see we have all the statuses, but you can also filter based on a status. For example, you say you want the assigned one. Then if you click search, it will actually filter based on the status. And here you can also click on the number and it takes you to the comments for that particular ticket. Then you can see you have the resolved tickets. These are also filtered, and even the closed tickets. Then you have the ticket comments. As you can see, you can add comment, and you can always tie this to a particular ticket. Then you have the ticket categories. You can create your category of tickets. Then you can also create the subcategories. But from the main category, you can also access the various subcategories within that particular main category. Then you have the audit trails. So every activity that is undertaken by the system, whenever you create something or any action, you're able to log. That is, you're indicating the action that was taken, the module, the affected table, the timestamp, the IP address, and the person who did it. Then you have the system users. So these are all the users within the system. You have the ID of the users, the first name, the middle name, last name, phone number, email address, gender, and you can always edit. So you can also add new users within the system, providing the first name, middle name, last name, gender, email address. You can also provide the country, city, and even all these other details. Then you have the system codes. So we are grouping all the options and the drop-down list within our application. For example, the gender, the marital status. Instead of hard coding them, then you are grouping them here. Then for the gender and marital status, the options, that is the male and female, are now under system code details. So here you'll see we have the male, and the main system code is actually the gender. So that is where we are grouping. And if you search here gender, you will notice that you only have two options. We have the male and female. Then you have the system roles. So these are all the roles within the application. And you have the departments. So we have the departments here, and even the system tasks. So the system tasks are all the modules, the main modules, and even the actions within the application. So today I want us to do something. So let's just go back to the dashboard. So as you can see on the dashboard here, we have this list, which is not paginated. So you can actually add pagination. So to do that, we are going to just copy this particular style and have it on our landing screen. So under home, then index, then I'm going to add it here on the main dashboard. So this is it. So if I just do that, and here we can do MT2. So then I format it. So if we update our application, then we are expecting to have this landing page and this particular data table paginated. So let's just see. So if our screen is refreshed, then that should be okay. So you can see that is done. We now have this paginated, and we have all this list of items. But here we can remove these view details, or even you can do away with the edit button. So because if you want to see, so we just want a glance of all those tickets. So I'm going to remove the edit header and also remove the button down here. So if we remove that and we update, then we should be having our, so we are trying to remove this from being scrolled. So you can see this is now a bit better. So what I want us to do today is I want us to add system settings. So we should be able to be doing settings within our application. So I want us to add another model. So on that particular model, we are going to add, that is where we'll be doing our system settings. For example, in case you want to have the email address that the system will be using to send notification, in case you want to set the number of times the passwords will expire, some of those things. So here we are going to say system setting. system setting. Then that will be my model. So on this particular model, I want us to have one is, so let me zoom in. We can do public, then int ID. Then you can say get set. Then you can also do, so here we will do the string. Then you can say here we can do the name, or we can do the setting. Let's just call it setting code. Then you can do the setting name. So you can do the setting name. Let me just say setting. Do you need to even, let's just call it code, setting code. Then you can do your name. So you don't have to repeat it. So I'll just do name. Then I can also do here value. So you can do here value. So that will be the value of our of the setting. So if it's something related to passwords, number of days, then we'll be having here the value. So I'll just do here value. So then we need now to import our user activity. So this will import all the values for the created by, modified by. You see, all this will be added to that particular table. So the next thing, as you know, we need to add migrations. So I'll be doing tools, NuGet package manager console. Then we just add our migrations. So if I just do that, then I can add our migration. And you know the most important commands here is add migration. Then we can say settings table. So we can say settings table. That is the name of our migration file. So if we add migration, then it should be able to generate the settings table file with all the SQL commands that will be used to create that particular table. So for those who are watching this channel for the first time and you haven't subscribed, consider subscribing and even like our video, because this is now getting interesting and you are welcome to our channel. So in case you want to access the source code, you can use the link down below to access the source code. And you can always, if you want to buy us coffee, you can always buy us coffee and we will appreciate donating. So as you can see, we have here our build is successful, and we have our settings table not generated. Why? So we have not done one thing. So before even trying to now address that, let's just remove this migration. And to remove, we'll just do remove. We'll just do remove migration. So if you click remove migration, it will actually remove the recent added migration. And remember, and it will remove this particular file. So if you do that, then it will remove that. So there is one thing that we've actually omitted, and we are going to add it. So our build is succeeded and our migration file has been removed. So as you can see, that has been reverted, and you can see reverting has been done. So the next thing is we need to add our table to our application DB context. Every time you create your model and you're expecting it to be translated to the database, we have it, you should be able to add it here. So we'll just do system settings. So our table name will be in plural. So we'll have our system settings. Then we go now to our NuGet package manager console. Then we do what we had done, adding the migration now. So you can now add migration settings table. And remember, we are using the same name. So if you haven't removed it, you'll actually need to use a different name other than the one that we have there. So if you now see our file, it is now a bit different. So you can see we have the settings table. It will create the table called settings with these particular columns: ID, name, value, code, created by, created on, created, modified by, and modified by, or. So then you can see we have our primary key here, the foreign keys. And so if we are done with that, so you can actually add now if you go to the package manager console, to effect this to the database, we just do update. Then you say database. So if you press enter, then our database will be updated with the new tables. So that is the system setting table. So after that, we should now be in a position to scaffold. So you can see we've added this particular table, and you can see these are the commands. So you see create table, system settings, and all this ID, code, name, value, and you can actually copy that and do it either on your production environment or even somewhere else. So the next thing that I want us to do is to scaffold. So I'm going to right click my project, new, then new scaffolded item, then MVC controller with views. Then we should be able to choose our class, that is the system settings, and this will be our controller name. So if you add it, it will now generate our code, that is the controller and the views folder with all the respective views that we need. That is the delete, edit, details, and even the index page. So that is a simple way now to actually generate the code and prevent you from wasting time doing everything. So that is it. So if you are new to this channel, consider subscribing for those who haven't subscribed. So as you can see, we now have our system settings, our index, and the rest. And if you go back to the views folder under views, you'll notice we now have a folder called system settings. So to access this particular page, the next thing that we need to do, you remember we need to go to our shared folder. Then here we will now duplicate here. We have it under this particular sidebar. We call it system settings. So here we'll just call settings. And these settings we can just call, I don't know, here we can, if we have something else. So let me try to do BI. Try to put in a different icon. So let me just do cogs, then we'll see. So here I'll just do system settings. So once we do that, we can now launch our application. Then we should be able to access that particular page. So let's just see. So if we access that, we should be able to see our index page, and we can be able to create a new system setting. So let's just access our app. So our app is launching. So for those new subscribers who haven't subscribed, we notice 90% of you guys are watching our videos and you have not subscribed. So as you can see, our help desk management system has launched. We can access it. So I'm going to access it. And whenever you sign in, it will take you to the dashboard. So as you can see here, we have our system settings. So our icon is missing. So let me just use this particular one for lock. I'll just say BI lock. So if I update it, then it should be able to update, and we now have our system settings here. So let's just see. So that is it. So if we click system settings, it will take us to the index page. So you can see this is our index page. So we can borrow the styling that we have been having on the, for example, system codes. So I'm going to borrow the styles here. So I'll just copy this. The good thing is whenever you've just designed one of them is you can actually be duplicating across your application. So I'll just do here card, then here you can say add new system setting. Then this is our data table. So then we need to close it down here. So I'll just do div. So if we just do that, I can copy this and be replicating here, and I can format our application. So if you click this one, you should find the closing tag here. Then this is system settings, and this we can call it system setting. System. So you can call it system settings. So if we do that, then we can actually now be in a position to update our app. So if we update our app, then our index page should reflect something now similar to what we have been having. As you can see, we now have add new system setting, and this is the data table. So if we click add new, you'll notice that this is what is there. We have the code name and the value. But remember, we don't allow users to be keying in created by, created on, modified by, and modified on. So what we need to do is we need to remove it on our create actions. So on our create page, so we are going to do away with all this. Then I'm going to remove this as well. So we just remain with the name, value, and the code. So remember one thing also, we can also duplicate our form that we have been having. So let's just do that on our system tickets. So where is it? I think that is where we have styled. So I'm going to do it here. So I just copy this. I want it to be within the same style. So I just apply this. So you can see up the div row class, then create. Then you can actually have here. Let's just go back to the index. So you can have this as MD6. You can have it in 2 rows, 2 columns, I mean. So if we go to the system settings, I can add this here. Then as you can see, I have this closed here. Then I can close it here as well. Then I can also copy this and add it here. Then we can close this here. Then I can also do this and update it here. So I need to close it, I mean here. So if we close that, then we can have so we can actually have these, say P3. Then we can format our app. So if we format, remember we had added this row here. So we need to actually close some of the tags that are missing. So you see that is closing that one, and we can also do this here. So if we format this now, we should be in a position to see some changes on our app. So if we update it, you will be able to see we have now the code, the name. So you can see you have the code, the name, and the row. So now we have this particular, so we have this create here. So what we need to do here, we need to have this in a row. So I'll just do here div, then I'll do here row. Then I'll close it down here. You can actually close it down here. So then if I format, that's cool. So if we update our app now, you should be having two columns, code, name. So you see code, name, and the value. Then you have our create action here. So there's one thing that we need to do before even creating the system settings. So here we'll just do add new system setting. Then remember, whenever we are creating our app, we should ensure that our created by is taken by the user ID who is logged in. And remember what we were doing on our application. So let's just go back to the tickets when we were creating the users. You'll notice that whenever we were creating, we were accessing the user who is actually logged in. So if we just search here user ID, so let's just see. So you see here, we have this. So this is the user ID. You get user.findFirstValue. Then claims.claimName identifier, that will give you the person who is logged in. Then the name and the created on should be the date time. So the same thing we are going to do to our create action. So I'm going to add it here. So I'll just do, so we can remove the binding. Then I'll also remove this. And you can actually do settings, created by and created on. Then you can do away. So here I'll do away with this. Then you can just say, so if we just do that and you say, so this is, we need to import system .security claims. So if you do that, then we should be good to go. So if we are done with that, the next thing is, let's just launch our app and try to see how this looks. So I'm going to start the application and we can relaunch it. So let me relaunch it. So if I relaunch it, we should now be able to create a system settings within our application. And we can be referencing these settings across our app. So assuming we also want to know the time that it takes for someone to resolve a ticket. So you can set the required time. Then you'll be tracking the due dates. So here, for example, if we just sign in, then you'll notice that, so let's just sign in. Then if we go to system settings, should be system settings. We can add a new system setting. So here we can say ticket. So I'll just call it ticket resolution days. So these are the number of days that you should be able to take to resolve a ticket. So for example, here I'll say ticket resolution days. So that means whenever you are assigned a ticket, you should take at max 5 days. So if we create it, we'll be having this as actually a setting. We can also have password expiry. So this is a code, then we can say this is a password expiry code. Then we'll say password should expire within a certain duration. So you can say in 30 days, the password in our application should expire. So if we create that, then we'll be having it here. So as you can see on our application, you have the code, the name, value, and the created by. So we can always, instead of the IDs on the settings, we can on the index bit, we can always do here full name, and I don't think we need the modified by. So let's just remove these two, and we need to also alter here. So here we can always remove also these two. Then another thing is on the actions, we can always copy the buttons that we have been having, the view, edit, and delete, and duplicate it on our settings page. So I'm going to duplicate them. Then on the index, I'm also going to copy the buttons. So that's the good thing of designing your forms initially, because you'll be reusing them. So I'm copying this here. Then if I just update our app, we should now be able to see the names and even the buttons here. So that is a simple way on how we have done this. So let's just see. We need to relaunch our app. So we are going to relaunch this. So if I just click relaunch, our app should be up. So then we should be able now to add even more settings. And these settings, we are going to reference them on our application going forward. For example, the number of days it takes for someone to resolve a ticket. So you'll be able to tell if someone is lazy or they are doing something else. And even for the passwords and even email address, anything that you feel is predefined, you can always have it within the settings page. So if you go to settings, you can now see we have the password expiry. It takes 30 days. The ticket resolution days is 5. And you can see here the created by and the created on, then views and edit and delete. So assuming we want on our tickets to come here and say on the recent tickets, we can be able to see when the ticket it was created and then whether it has surpassed the number of days required for resolution. So that is what you should be able to track and see if the ticket is someone who was assigned this particular ticket has not resolved the ticket, or it's actually delayed. So here, from the date, we can actually get the number of days. So let's just calculate the number of days from when it was created up to now, then compare with the resolution status, that is resolution days, and check if the tickets are overdue or not. So let's just go back to our application. So I want us to go to our tickets. So let's just go to tickets model. So I want us to do that on a tickets model. So do we do it on the tickets model, or let's do it on the view model? So let's just go back to the tickets view model. Tickets view model. So this is our view model. So here, I want us to, we can actually, let's do it on the view, on the model itself. So I want us to introduce another property here, and we are going to call it, let's call it, so this will be integer, and it's actually nullable. Then you can say ticket duration. So this ticket duration is actually, we need to define something here. So I want you guys to see. So this ticket duration, I want us to get it from, so I'm going to define here get. So the get here will be based on, so I want us to do that, then I can actually close it here. So the get, we need to say if, so you need to check if the created on is not null. So let's now use the created on, but we should be able to see we should actually use the assigned on. This is when we can actually, let's just do created on. So if date created on is equals to null, let's just do if created on is equals to null, then we can return. So we can return null. So we don't have to calculate anything. But let's just do date time. We need to get now. We say now equals to that. So you just do date time now. Then we can say time. So we can actually do time span. So we can do time span. Then we say difference. This is the difference in terms of. Then we can say now dot subtract. So we can subtract now the created on. So if we do that, then you can get the number of, that is the difference. So if we, so this is giving us now, then you can say a difference, then dot, can do dot days. So we want the days. So if we do days, then it will give us the number of days. So let's just launch and see. So this one will give us the time difference, and we can always get the days. So that is a bit easier than what we had done. So let me just launch our app, then we see how that looks like. So for those who are new to this channel, consider subscribing, like our video, and comment down below. So I'm going to sign in here. Then we go to our recent tickets. So as you can see, we have now our time difference, that is the 35 days. Then our last one, you see what we have created today should be 0. So that means now our days are actually cool. But now I want us to arrange these particular tickets so that when the one that was created last previously is the one that shows at the top. So, or it's actually good to have it this way because it actually helps for those who are addressing the issues to check the ones that have the number of days more to be addressed. And you can see now, this particular ticket, it has 35 days more than the number of required days, which is actually under system settings. So system settings tells us the ticket resolution days is 5, but on our application, our ticket resolution days has exceeded. So what do we need to do? So on this particular bit, we can always be flagging this. So let's just, I want us to interchange the duration and the comments so that it gives us the leeway to add the colors. So we'll just go to the tickets. So you want us to interchange this, and we can also interchange the comments. Interchange the comments here. Then I want us whenever, so here, I want us whenever we get, so we can actually get the duration of the ticket. So here I can get, we can get the duration of the ticket. So how do you do that? So on our tickets controller and index, so let's just go back to index. So I'm just scrolling there. Then I have this one. So on this particular index page, I can actually get the status. That is the, can actually get the duration. So I can do, then we can have the main duration as a value here. So let's just do it here as an integer. So we'll say main duration. So this is our value. Then we can always say, sorry. So you can always say here. So this main duration, you can assign it a value on our controller. So that is under tickets controller. You can do here, VM dot that. Then in fact that was going to give us an headache. Then here we can do dot. So here you can do dot value. So let me just do here. Let me just do this is variable duration. Then I'm going to assign a value here. Can just say that equals to, can do duration dot. So this is giving us, so this is so I want us to get the value here. So this is system settings, and this is can do your first or default. Then this is, so we can actually change this. So let's just change this to, I'm going to have this instead of I'm going to have these as settings, system settings, I mean system setting. Then if we go to the controller, we can call these main duration. So let's just call it main duration instead of a lot of things. So that will give us the, so this will give us the value. Then if we go back to our index page, under tickets, we should now be able to say here, you can do VM, then main duration. So here I'll just do, model. Here I'll just do main duration. Sorry, I'll just do at model. So here I'll just do at model dot that. Then you can do dot value. If we do that, then this one should be, we can always cast this. Can always cast this to integer. Let me just say, can do convert, say to int. So if we convert that, then we check that if it's greater than this, then it should be good. So let's just launch our app and see. So this should give us, so there's something wrong somewhere. So let's just go back to the controller, system settings. Yeah, so we should actually get that there. So then let's launch our app and see. So you should now be able to get the number of days and even be able to highlight those that have exceeded the number of days. So this is how you can use the settings. So I'm just showcasing some of the ways on how you can design a best system. So, but this is just meant for samples and even to demonstrate to you guys. So let's just sign into our application. If we go to recent tickets, you'll notice that all the duration here has been highlighted as red. If we go to the last one, you see we don't have any ticket that is not highlighted as red. So you see this is, the last one is not red because the number of days has not exceeded. So that is how you can track that particular option, and you can always check the durations that are as it exceeded. So here, instead of just say duration, you can always put even days. So how do you do that? So you can actually come to the index page here, and instead of just doing duration, you can always have something like days. So if we just do that, it will always add that in front of our app. So if we update it, we should be able now to have something like 35 days, 35 days. Then you should be able to see. So let's just see if our app will update. There we go. So you can see we have 35 days, and we have here it will be 0 days. So this is how you can actually now update that. So I'm going to leave it there for today, guys. So for those who are following this series, subscribe, like our video, and see you in our next video. Bye.